Uh, go back, if we go back to being a 2-month, 3-month-old child, or a young infant, it's fairly normal for a little child to need some form of soothing. We're going to be crying, and there are things that our parents can do to alleviate the discomfort that we're experiencing that's causing us to cry in the first place. And often it's holding us to the breast because we're thirsty or hungry and we actually need the milk. But that's not the only reason why we'll be crying and feeling discomfort. Sometimes it's that need for connection. It's the need for reassurance. It's something's going on inside us, and we need someone from outside of us to help us regulate our nervous system back to a place where we can feel comfortable, we can basically feel safe again. And if it's not being put to the breast, then it's likely to be some kind of pacifier, or given a bottle, or being rocked, or doing something like that. And all of these are soothing behaviors that help us to feel better. Addiction is exactly the same thing, except we're the one who's giving ourselves that soothing. So whenever our nervous system gets particularly stressed out because something is going on around us, and usually it's something that feels disconnected, that leaves us feeling as if I need reassurance that I'm lovable, I need reassurance that I'm worthwhile, that I'm connection worthy, I will reach out for something to drink, or same thing as when I drank from the breast or from the bottle, or something to eat, or something to touch, or something to um, distract myself from the emotional discomfort that I'm sitting in. And so I see all addiction as an adult version of our need for soothing that never went away. And why would it? We've never outgrown that need to have something bring our nervous system back into some form of regulation.
So how would you sort of address the issue that a lot of people and a lot of quote unquote professionals have, that addiction is sort of genetic, but it's passed on from one parent or one family group to that sibling or that child that's born into that relationship. You know, like alcoholism, for instance. I mean, for years, that was sort of the understanding. So how would you address that now?
I would speak to that more in the environment. So less about the genetics of the disease, more about the continuous environment that the family finds themselves in generationally. Things that are passed down to us. Beliefs are passed down to us. Cultural norms are passed down to us. How our family unit works, thrives, disconnects, whatever we're doing. Those environments tend to get passed down when we don't have a level of awareness around what is happening within our family. And that is really a main driver in addiction, whether it be food or whatever it looks like. So it's a learned behavior that comes from our environment rather than a solely genetic disposition that causes addiction.
And I
Yes.
can take that in another direction, is to think about how uncomfortable it is to acknowledge that we have an addiction. What it means is that I'm not able to take care of myself without needing some form of an external crutch. And so people who define addiction are invested from a shame perspective in making that about the other person, not about themselves. And this isn't making total sense. If I'm a doctor, I don't want you to know how sick I am. If I'm a psychologist, I don't want you to know how screwed up I am. Right?
Right, yeah.
If I am the person who's defining an addict, the last thing that I want you to know is about my own need for soothing. And so within our society, we do as much as we possibly can to try and make it about the other person. One of the things that I love, for example, about Dr. Gabor Mate, who's one of the experts in addiction, is that one of the first things he does is to say, okay, these are the addicts that I'm working with on the street, and these are my addictions. And I would love for all of us to be able to share what it is. And you can see, like, what's one of my addictions? One of my addictions is overeating. I will go and soothe myself by using that. Codependence has been another one of my addictions, of being addicted to a person where I crave them in such a way that the only way to soothe myself is by having contact, either by telephone or something, with that person. And what I've discovered through my work is that what addiction is a subset of control, but that everybody is controlling their environment. And many people use addiction as one of the ways that we control the level of pain that we're experiencing in our environments.